What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Big updates on Project SPL, as you see right behind me. I'm sure you can see some of the updates already. Wish I could video while I work, but I don't want to just set the camera down and let it record me. So unless there's somebody else working and for me to record them, I can't really do both. I've got to basically get some work done, video, get some work done, video. So I'm stopping what I'm doing, take some time, shoot some video footage, let y'all see what's going on. It's currently Monday, a little after 6 o'clock after work, and pointing that out because I'm gonna get to a few questions some people had in the comments that I thought were really important. Now, the first really important question, somebody said, if you wanted a bigger vehicle, and they're referring to us doing all the work back here, cutting all this room out, you know, getting all this in here, trying to get more room, said if you wanted a bigger vehicle, why didn't you buy a different, bigger vehicle? Well, because I didn't just want a bigger vehicle. It's not about bigger, so to speak. Everything I'm doing right now has nothing to do with volume. When you're thinking bigger, you're thinking more volume. Everything I'm doing has to do with changing the shape of the back end of this truck. I do want a little more height, which I've got to cut the floor to get, but more so, I want the flat floor. So that's the main reason we're doing all this back here. A little more height for the 418 setup I'm gonna run in here to start with, but primarily flat floor. Now, why didn't I get a different vehicle? Well, any vehicle I get, I'm not gonna get that height with the flat floor. It's just not gonna happen. I'm probably gonna have to modify any vehicle I buy to get the back end the way I want it for this SPL project. The other big reason is I don't think there's another vehicle out there quite as good as the SPL characteristics of this one. There's a lot of things I like about the shape of a Blazer, about the way everything is about this truck, from the doors to the dash, the windshield. There's so many characteristics that I think are really good for SPL. And I'm a longtime fan of square body Blazers. I've owned several, specifically 4-doors. I wanted the 4-door to get the little bit extra room in the back, and I just love the look of them. So I think by the time I'm done with this, the exterior look as far as the interior, it's gonna be real pleasing. But keep in mind, the biggest reason I'm doing all this work back here, flat floor. I'm not gonna get that by buying another vehicle. I'm gonna have to do the work. One of the other questions somebody said was, I don't know if it's a question or comment, but they mentioned something about this being a company build and like the company's paying for it all and the company's basically paying us to build this vehicle. So let me go ahead and answer all that real quick. So this truck is mine. I bought this. Derek, drove to my bank, pulled money out of my bank account, and I drove my truck, burning my fuel down to South Carolina, where I put my money in somebody else's hand, and I bought this truck. I then got it loaded up on a trailer, and I towed it back home using my truck, burning my fuel back here. So if you're not catching the drift, I own this. This is mine. Everything I'm doing to it so far, I'm paying for. Here's one of the updates. We got some parts. We got some plug wires. We got some spark plugs. We got a fuel filter. I drove myself down to the parts store and I bought this stuff with my money. Obviously the wheels, put the big wheels on it. I went and got my money out of my bank account and I went down and I bought those wheels. I own this. This isn't a company build. This isn't a company project. The company's not paying for this. I am. This is my project. So hopefully that answers a lot of that. Now, not to throw confusion out there, but when I competed in the past, I did compete with some company vehicles like the Sundown Terra, and I always competed under 2 names. So when I do SPL, I compete under Team Sundown Audio, and that's the team name. I'll continue to compete under SPL with this. So this will compete under the name Team Sundown Audio, because even though it's mine, I'm still going to use it as a manufacturer vehicle. I'm going to take it to shows. I'm going to show off for the company. I'm going to take it to the SPL competitions, and I'm going to compete under Team Sundown Audio and let it be kind of a spokesman for the company, for the brand, for how good the product is. All right. So anything going forward, just keep in mind, all of this is coming out of my pocket. I'm paying for this. The company isn't paying for this. When it comes to the labor, I'm putting my labor in. So I made a point. I'm showing you I'm here after hours. I don't get paid to do this. I'm not on the clock. And you see guys helping me. Most of the time we're here on weekends. We're here after work. We're doing this off the clock. It's what we do. They're helping me out. Now, here at Sundown, for y'all that aren't familiar, we don't build vehicles. This isn't our daily jobs. We manufacture equipment. We have a whole build room in the back. I've done plenty of videos on our build room where we manufacture speakers, subwoofers right here. And then, yeah, of course, there's stuff we bring from overseas, but that's our main thing. Manufacture product and resell it. Any vehicles you see like this that we built, or like our van over here, Sundown van, in case anyone has forgotten, do a little walk around on it. Yes, this is still here. Now, we built this here in-house. The only vehicles you're going to see us build are our own. We built this as a demo machine for the company, for Sundown Audio. Other than that, we don't do this for a living. We don't build vehicles. Now, a lot of us have previous experience. We have done things like this in the past. We've done audio type work, mechanic type work, fabrication work. We've done a ton of that stuff. I've got a huge background in it. Brandon does as well. He's doing a ton of helping me back here with the cutting and welding. It's what we've done in the past. We've done this type of work for a living. So when it comes to jumping into a project like this, it's no sweat. We can jump in, we can do it. But keep in mind, this is not what we do on a day-to-day basis for a living. It's not what we do here at Sundown Audio. We do not get paid for this. Last question that I thought was important. I kind of answered this, but maybe I didn't go into depth with it. What equipment am I going to be running? So I'm going to say this again. To start off with, I'm taking 4 Sundown Audio U-Series 18-inch subwoofers. And that's the subwoofers that are going in here. To power them is going to be 4 Sundown Audio SCV 7500 amplifiers. 1 amplifier on each sub. It's a lot of power, but I like overkill. I want to have plenty of power on deck. To power the amplifiers, I'm going to run a big bank of super caps. Now, moving forward, mentioned I'm going to plan on changing out to 615s later on. So I'm going to start with 418s, play around with that a little bit. Later on, move to 615s. When I do that, I might throw 6 U15s in here then. Not sure yet. But I do know for a fact I will be moving on to our compact SPL Neo subwoofers. They will be getting in here 615s, and at that time I'll also be adding 2 more amplifiers. So then I will have 6 Sundown Audio SCV 7500 amplifiers, 1 per sub. Now, I'm going to go ahead and plan it out now how many banks of super caps I'm going to run. And here's how it's going to work. So I've done a lot of testing with super caps, seeing how much power you can get out of them. I'm planning on getting minimum 10,000 watts up to 12, maybe even 13. This is about the most we've seen out of 7500s on a daily reliable basis. We've seen them do 12 to 13,000, but at 12,000 watts, I'm planning on needing a good 3 banks of super caps. I'll be running banks of 5 cells, but I'm planning on needing 3 banks of super caps per amp. Now, it also kind of works out with my OCD a little bit. Since each amplifier has 3 sets of inputs, that's 3 powers, 3 grounds, I can run a bank of super caps into each input. So 3 banks per amplifier gives 1 into each input. And going up to 6 amplifiers, 3 banks times 6 amplifiers equals 18 banks of super caps. So that's what I plan on running. Starting out with 4 U18s, 4 7500s, later on upgrading to 6 compact Neo SPL subwoofers and 6 7500s, all powered by 18 banks of super caps. Now we can go around here to the back. I know I mentioned this before. I'll show you again since we got a little more work done in here. So you can see how cut out everything is. I don't have the wood floor in here as a mock-up, but basically right here in the back, this still got to get trimmed out a little more, but because of how far down, and maybe let me come around here. You can really see here. So the wood's going to start getting built up here, and we're actually going to have about 3 inches. This is going to get built up before the actual full floor is going to start. And this is where the super caps are going to sit. I've got plenty of room width-wise to do them back here. They're going to be countersunk down, and then starting at this point up is where the amp rack is going to sit. And so, any questions about what equipment I'm going to run? That's it. Eventually, it's all going to move up to 6 compact Neo SPLs, 6 7500, 18 banks of super caps. Now let me lead that into something else. So the last video I posted about Project SPL, which is kind of a random thought of the day, and it came off something else I seen. It was actually on Facebook. Just made me think. I knew there was a lot of guys out there that just don't have a clue of how much work and how much money goes into projects like this. So I just kind of threw it out there to just a general question. How much do you think? Some of y'all guys took it way too serious. So in case it's not obvious, yes, when it comes to equipment, the speakers, the subwoofers, the amplifiers, I will be getting an employee discount. You know, there's no BS about that. It's going to happen. So I won't pay the same price as your typical average Joe over-the-counter, you know, guy is going to pay. So let's take that all the way out. Let's just not even think about equipment. Because here's the other thing. And I posted this online to let guys know, like, when it comes to me buying wood, there's no Home Depot sponsorship here. You know, when I go down and buy wood, I'm paying the same price that you guys are going to pay, the exact same price. There's no homie hookup. You know, where I go buy wood and where I pay for it is the exact same thing. You can go down to that place and buy wood and you can pay for it. Now, somebody didn't believe when I said I was estimating 22 sheets. So here's what's up. I'll go and point this out. There's going to be 4 layers thick all the way around in here. That means 4 layers on this side, which is only 3 inches. It's only 3 inches, not that much. 4 layers on this side, 4 layers on that side, 4 layers on the top, 4 layers on the bottom. Another thing is I just mentioned coming up from the frame up, before I even get into the full floor, there's going to be another 4 layers of wood, 3 inches. I've got to build up off of that steel. Now, the wood we bring in, it's Baltic Birch. I'll actually walk around here and show it to you in just a second. It is Baltic Birch. It is Russian. Love it because it's super dense. Lots of plies. It grows in a cold climate, so it grows slow, which makes it way denser, and it's just super strong. We compared it to other woods. We compared it to South American birch, which is grows in a hot climate. It grows super fast, so it's not as dense, not as strong. There's no other wood I've found out there as good. Now it comes in kind of a metric dimension, but it's basically 5 by 5 sheets, 5 foot by 5 foot, or 60 inches. So in doing this, now right now, I don't know if it looks like it, but back here, that's 53 inches of width I've got back here. That piece you see sitting there, which is my full piece to start the floor mock-up, that piece is 60 inches by 53 inches. So that is only right at 7 inches short of being a full sheet of wood. And it is not enough to go all the way front to back. So I've actually got to do some other piecing up here to get that to work right. So there's only a 7-inch strip I cut off the side of that from it being a full sheet of wood. I've got in the neighborhood of 40, I can't think off the top of my head right now. I got in the neighborhood of about 45 inches or so of height. So out of a 60-inch piece, yeah, I'm gonna cut, we'll go ahead and just say 15 inches off. But every one of those 4 layers, bottom, top, left, right, and the back, it's got to be cut from one full big sheet of wood. I'm gonna have a bunch of little scraps left over that I'll use in other places to do things with. But you got 4. 4 here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. In the back would be 5 sides, 4 layers each. It's already 20 sheets of wood. I know when it comes to the front, after I get the loading wall built and dialed in, I'm gonna do some trim panels, some beauty pieces, where I'm gonna do a full sheet up here. Right now I'm looking at least 2, possibly 3 or 4 sheets. I'm also gonna do on the front. That puts me up to 22 to 24 sheets. Oh yeah, plus the 3 I'm doing under the floor, 3 I'm coming off the metal with, off the steel frame. That's another 3 sheets of wood. So I'm already at potentially 27 sheets of wood I have to use in here. That's not even counting making the tubes yet. So, things like these. So when I built these are octagons. They're made out of the really good birch. They're still sitting here hanging in tight. They're built good and strong. I'm gonna be doing actual circles. Gonna be cutting them out on a big router. And right now, my math to cut to all the rings I need to do what's called stack fab, it's been named. To cut out all the rings I need to do stack fab, I'm estimating another 11 sheets of wood just to do that, just to get the tubes I need built. So now I'm at 27, 11. Yeah, I'm looking at about 38 sheets of wood. And I'm gonna tell you, that wood ain't cheap, but you mind, I'm gonna pay the same price you guys are gonna pay for it. So, other thing is sound deadener. I guess you could say we get a little hookup on sound deadener, but as of right now, I'm looking at I'm gonna have probably about 19, 20 sheets of sound deadener in this thing. Now, keep in mind, when I say that, I'll take you a trip up here real quick. When I say sheets, we get in the huge sheets of Vibraflex. We usually bring in a pallet or so at a time. Walk up here real quick, and I'm gonna show you. So these are the huge sheets of Vibraflex we get in. They're roughly 40 inches by 40 inches. One sheet of this is about 11 square feet. So typically you would buy this in the small packs. When you buy a small pack of it in the USPS flat rate box, which I'll gladly show you one of them right here. We got one of those old ones around here. You're gonna get, oh, this is heavy. You're gonna get something like this right here with these little pieces of Vibraflex in it, about that big. Well, this is one of those big sheets cut by 8, cut into 8s. You're gonna get about 21 square feet in there. So that's just a little bit less than 2 of our big sheets. Those things right now sell online for about $135, I think. Keep in mind, that's only 2 of our big sheets. I'm gonna be using about 20. So that's equivalent to about 10 of those $135 packs that I'm gonna have in sound deadener in this thing. So, yeah. Move on. Some of the updates. So I already showed you tune up, got the stuff in, working on that. Obviously you can see we got some doors missing. So over here, we got the doors pulled off, got them laid down. I got new door pins in. Door pins were rusted and trashed. The doors were hanging real bad, sagging. But I knew I wanted to get them off, get them down here where I can work with them, do some serious sound deadening and strengthening on these. And it's, let me tell you, especially when you're working with big sheets of that Vibraflex, it's way easier to get these things out on the table and work on them like this than trying to hang that stuff up while you're going. Now, so engine work is underway, sound deadening the doors, strengthening the doors underway in the back. So the frame, we got the frame all boxed in at the back. Got it good and strong. Well, you might see it wiggle a little bit because the whole truck's wiggling when I do that up on these things. The frame's in, it's welded up. We had to do some more cutting and welding over here because we missed that our fuel lines were still coming across the top of this cross member. So we had to cut this apart, re-weld it. Yeah, it's starting to look kind of janky, whatever. It's gonna hold. Got our fuel lines down up under here because the factory gas tank is going to come in down here. It's going to get reattached back here underneath the new frame. Currently, I have the drive shaft out. You can see it laying on the ground down there. And working on doing a flip kit. So somebody had actually mentioned, why didn't I flip the springs? And I'll admit, I was just a goof on that one. I didn't even think about it. So that's my bad, but I'm glad that guy made that comment. So I've got the leaf springs flipped over on top of the axle instead of underneath it. Working on finishing that up right now. Had to get the wheels off. Now, got to get the wheels back on, get this back mocked up, get all this tightened back in where it's just kind of sitting loose right now. I got to flip another bracket around down here. But basically, once I get the wheels on, get that mocked up again with where my floor is going to sit. So this leaf spring is going to come up And of course, once the wheels are on, this ain't gonna be all wonky, but this is gonna come back up. We'll get a mount made back here in the back, and we'll get this rear leaf spring attached back here to the back of the frame. So that's gonna get all our rear suspension tied back in. As soon as we get that leaf spring up here mounted, got everything positioned the way we want, then we're gonna come in with some more of this channel, and I'm gonna run a solid piece straight down. So the leaf spring's only job from here on out is gonna just be to locate the axle, to keep it centered front to back, left to right. There will be no more suspension, no more springiness, no more weight handling. It's gonna be solid steel, straight down off that frame, straight to the axle. It will handle as much weight as we put into it. The next weakest link's gonna be the tires. We're gonna put these things to the test. We're gonna see how much weight these tires can handle. Now, oh, so here's another thing. Go and show y'all. If you ain't never heard of this stuff, you better ask somebody. Oh, bam. US Composites. This is a 2-part foam. It is the heaviest grade foam I could find, 16-pound foam. Look this stuff up. You're going to find out quick. This stuff is not cheap. This is one of their big kits. This kit, I don't remember what shipping was, but the kit starts off around $260-ish plus shipping. And shipping is not cheap either. As right now, I'm estimating I'm going to need potentially 4 or more of these kits. And this stuff is serious. I'm going to tell you why I'm going to need so much in a minute. But show you, let's see, yep. So here's a random piece of some. All right. Concrete floor. Yeah. This stuff is like concrete when it hardens. Now I'm hitting it pretty hard. It ain't even scratching this stuff. It's like concrete, but it is super light. So that's what I like about it. I got in a small batch to test out. We played with it, did some different things, made some small pieces, checked out how hard it was, and I was super impressed by this stuff. So I bought a big kit. We're starting to use it. Now, basically, here's what I'm going to do. Typically, guys get in vehicles with spray foam, and they use stuff like this. Some great stuff, which the stuff works. Just use it correctly. They use stuff like this. They get in every gap, every void. They just shoot this stuff in there everywhere, fill it all up, seal it up good. Well, this stuff, it can seal. It's capable of doing that, but it's not going to add much strength. Well, so I'm taking this one step further. I'm not just trying to seal up all the voids. I'm trying to seal them and add a little bit of strength. And I'm going to pay a whole lot of money to do it. So that's what I'm doing. Got a big kit of that in. Be mixing some up, and little by little, I'm going in and some of the various voids in the truck, and that's what I'm pouring in there. Let it expand out, let it get super hard, and strengthen everything. Because keep in mind, same reason I'm using Vibraflex up here everywhere instead of using a basic butyl foil back deadener, because Vibraflex is where you're going to get your strength. The other deadeners might mass load and deaden the noise a little bit. I'm not concerned about deadening the sound. I need to add strength, add structural integrity. So same thing with this foam, where this stuff might get in there and seal the cracks and the gaps and help with that. I'm not worried about sealing. I'm worried about adding strength. So I'm using the good stuff from US Composites, and I didn't get the 2 or 4 or 8 pound. I went all the way up to 16 pounds, spent a little bit extra money. We're going to do it right. Now, where's this good? Well, any areas that I'm just trying to take up space and I don't need strength. So one of those areas, 2, where I've already started putting some foam. One is in these back doors. So I don't really need any strength in the back doors, because of course there's going to be a big wall built right here. Once that's done, that's going to handle all the strength. This won't need to handle any. So you can see I've already gotten here, started adding a little bit of this foam. I just went and bought the first thing I found at the store. Big gap filler, great stuff. Don't care about strength. Don't even care about sealing. I'm just using it to fill up some voids. I'm also using some, hopefully we can get this on camera, like back here. You see I got some of these gaps. So anywhere I'm not that concerned about strength, where I'm just kind of filling voids, taking up space, that's where I'm gonna use the cheap stuff. Now here's the big kicker. I don't think I've mentioned this before on video. I'm mentioning it now. When I get in here and I build this shell, let's see if I can get it this way. I'm building that shell out as big as possible, as far out as I can take it. I'm even gonna, instead of just having a straight up and down piece, so I might, you can see how this truck kind of tapers a little bit. So I'm gonna have a piece coming straight up and down here, but I'm gonna layer that wood. So I'm gonna have at least 3 inches thick, at least 4 layers of wood. But any other voids I have, I'm gonna fill as much of that up with wood as possible. The little bit of gap that's left, and there's gonna be some, I don't know how much, but the little bit of gap that's left, I'm pouring foam in here. So by that time, I'll have the face up here, the loading wall, this will be sealed off. I will have the rear wall back there sealed off. So there'll be just kind of a gap. Like basically if I had wood out almost touching this, just kind of a little gap here, little gaps here, and whatever little gap is left in the door. These rear doors are gonna get shut, and I'm gonna have to cut me some holes. And right now I plan on using, if we can see, it's kind of dark, there's actually some holes already in the roof where the factory roof rack is attached. The factory roof rack is coming off. I plan on using those holes where those studs are in there, those rivets, and I'm gonna pour foam in, and I'm just gonna keep pouring and pouring and pouring until I get the whole back of this truck filled up. You've probably seen other guys in the past who've done that with concrete. They build their shell in the back, cut the roof open, they go in, they pour concrete in there. It's super strong, also adds a ton of weight. I'm pretty sure the way this stuff is worked and how hard it is, I think I can get about the same strength as concrete with a tiny, tiny fraction of the weight. So that's what I'm gonna do. That's why I'm gonna have so much money in this expander foam when it's all said and done. And right now I can't even plan how much I'm gonna have to take to fill the back of this thing up when I get done. I'm just gonna have to play it by ear, see how it goes, order it as I need. But yeah, that's about all for the current updates. Gonna be working this week, getting the doors strengthened up and deadened, get some Vibraflex on them. Gonna be working this week to finish up this rear suspension, get this attached. I am still waiting on parts to come in. I got the lift spindles ordered for the front. Got to get the front torn apart, get this whole suspension up here, get the wheels off, get all the suspension up here torn apart, get the factory spindles busted loose, see if I got any other issues I need to take care of as far as plating any ball joints or anything like that. You know, gotta keep up on my maintenance on my SPL vehicle. So when I get all that torn apart, my spindles should be in Wednesday. They had to come from all the way from the West Coast. With no prime shipping available on them. So get the spindles in. I hope to get them bolted on this week. Gonna redo the suspension up front. The factory coil springs are coming all the way out, and same as in the back, I'm doing a solid front suspension as well. So we're gonna do some steel up there in the spring pocket, make it rock solid. Won't be no issues of handling any weight here. It's gonna handle all the weight I need to put in it. Praying though, using this US Composites foam, I'm not gonna have a whole lot of weight to handle. But that's it. That's what you're gonna see is more updates coming this week. Hope to get this suspension finished up tomorrow. Hope to get the tune-up done, get the front suspension torn down tomorrow. And then don't know what day I'll get to work on the doors. But right now, the suspension is the main part. As soon as I get the suspension done, I can get it off the blocks, get it back down on the ground. And once I got on the ground and got the mock-up and everything done, I can actually start putting wood in, start at least getting my floor fabbed out. So that's why that's #1 priority on my to-do list. So that's it. There's already been a longer video than what I meant it to be. I'll probably go ahead and upload this tonight for you guys, go and give you an update. But yeah, if you like what I'm doing, remember guys, click that thumbs up, like, subscribe, share with your friends. Let me know what you think. Let me know about all the crazy stuff we're doing. Is this something you'd be willing to do? Is this something you like seeing? Yeah, just let me know in the comments what you think, guys, and I'm going to cut this off. So until next time, we'll see y'all then. when you're here by yourself at night working, you will swear there's people walking around talking. There's nobody here. Nobody's been here for hours but me. But I swear I keep hearing stuff. Shit gets spooky around here at night.